Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Tezayin, Daf 16 of Masechta Beitzah. Friends, who could tell me what Daf 16 talks about? So the first part of Daf 16 is like some interesting agadatas about gifts and things like this. I think pretty much a lot of it we've seen already in other places like Masechta Shabbos. And then we move on to like more halachis about eruvey, tavshilin, different things that you can use for eruvey, tavshilin. Let's just jump in over here. So we did quite a bit. We kind of got a head start on the daf already yesterday. There were just some very interesting agadatas that seemed like they were in a sort of kind of like a flow. So we went weiter over there. So we're going to start 3 lines before the Gemara gets wide on daf Tezayin and Moar, daf 16. Reb Chama Reb Chanina. Says Reb Chama Reb Chanina, Hanosin matana lachaveru eno tzarich lo dio. A fellow gives a gift to his friend. He does not need to let his friend know, hey, I gave it to you. Shenemar, as the pasuk says, Moshe lo yoda ki karin or panov. That Moshe didn't know that his face was radiating. Kilu, God gave him a gift. He gave him this radiating face. And Moshe Rabbeinu didn't even know. Other people told him. Meizve, we have a kasha. Ladas ki ani Hashem mekadoshchem. That the pasuk says, to know that I am God who makes you holy, right? It says, "V'ata daber el bnei Yisrael lemor achas shabsosai tishmoru ki osi benu v'neichem adosechem adas ani Hashem mekadoshchem." That here's the Shabbos, so that you know that I'm God who makes you holy. Amar la Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe, says God to Moshe, Moshe matana tova yesh li b'veis genozai. Moshe, I have a great gift in my treasury, in my storage. V'Shabbos Shema, and it's called Shabbos. V'ani mavakesh litna liYisrael, and I want to give it to the Yidden. Lech v'odia osam, go and let them know that I'm going to give them this gift called Shabbos. Mikano Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, from here says Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, and osim paslatinok, that a fellow gives bread to a baby. Tzarich lodia li'imo, he needs to let the mother know, I gave your baby some bread. Lo kasha. So one second. On the one hand, we said that a person doesn't need to let somebody know that he gave him a gift, just like God didn't tell Moshe that he gave him a radiant face. But on the other hand, we say that God Davka told Moshe that tell the Yidden that I'm giving them this gift called Shabbos. And from here we see that if a fellow gives bread to a baby, he has to tell the mother. As Rashi says, so that his mother will know, v'sir bechiba v'reus b'Yisrael, there'll be camaraderie and friendship among the Yidden, that random strangers are giving each other's babies bread, and it'll be very beautiful. So, lo kasha. So he said it's no problem. Hab matana da avida le'agluye, hab matana de lo avida le'agluye. So it depends. If it's something that memela they're going to find out anyways, such as Moshe Rabbeinu having a radiating face, so people would tell him, Moshe, your face is radiating. Whereas, if I give somebody's baby bread, so they won't know that it was me. So therefore you have to tell the mother, like, hey, I gave your baby bread. I'm a great guy. Alright. Shabbos na matana David lagluye. But 1 second. But the Yidden would have found out about Shabbos. It's written in the Torah. Why did God need to say, tell them? So ma'in schar lo avida lagluye. Well, while the Shabbos is written in the Torah, its reward is not written clearly in the Torah. So that is what Moshe. That's what God wanted Moshe Rabbeinu to tell the Yidden. Omer Mai, we said earlier, mikan Omer Reb Shimon ben Gamliel anosim pasatinok tzarich lodia le'imo. So we said earlier that says Reb Shimon ben Gamliel that if a fellow gives bread to a baby, he needs to let the baby's mother know. My overlay. So what does he do so that the mother will know? So shayif le mishcha. So you put a little bit of oil on the baby's on his forehead. Umada le kuchla, and you put some eyeliner in the eyes. And now the baby will come back to the mother with with like oil all over his face and eyeliner on the eyes, and she'll say, oh wow, where'd you get the treatment? And he'll say, oh yeah, that nice man over there did it. And again, as Rashi says, everyone will become friends. Okay. Okay. All right. I wonder. I don't know if I'm going to try it, but maybe someone in Babylon Talmud can try it out and let us know how it goes. But don't tell them necessarily that you were sent from Babylon Talmud, because it might be risky from a public relations standpoint. So maybe if you do it on your own, you can let us know how it goes. All right, very nice. But nowadays that we have to be concerned about witchcraft. So what do? So people might think there's some kind of witchcraft going on with the eyeliner and everything, I guess. So so what you can do is you can use the thing. So okay, if you give the baby bread, so maybe use some of the wheat or something, and then it'll be clear. Got it. Bread, wheat. All right, sounds very nice. Amr Reb Yochanan says, Reb Yochanan Shimon ben Yochai. So it says Reb Yochanan in the name of Shimon ben Yochai, Kol mitzvahs shenosan HaKadosh Baruch Hu yisod nosan lehem b'far hesya. That all the mitzvahs that the Eibishter gave the Yidden, he gave it to them in public. Chutz mi Shabbos, except for Shabbos, shenosan lehem b'tzino, that he gave it to them in private. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Beinu ve'ben Yisrael, between me and the Yidden, Osi la'olam, it's a sign. So if that's the case, then what beef does the Eibishter have with the Gentiles for not accepting Shabbos? After all, it was like a secret kind of thing. So, where am I? Shabbos odue oda inu ma'in schar la oda inu. No, so the Eibishter did let them know about Shabbos. He just didn't tell them the reward that was involved. Or if you want to say, he even let them know the reward involved in the Neshama Yisera. He just never told them about the Neshama Yisera. The Amr Shimon ben Lakish says, Lakish, Neshama Yisera nosen HaKadosh Baruch Hu ba'adam erev Shabbos, that the Eibishter gives a fellow an extra soul on erev Shabbos, the Motzoi Shabbos notlin osei menu, and the Motzoi Shabbos they take it away from him. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, Shabbos vayinofash, and that it's Shabbos and vayinofash. What does this mean? Came Sheshavas, once already Shabbos is over, Sheshavas, that he already rested, Shabbos is over, voy of the nefesh, you sort of lose this soul. And Rashi explains, what's this neshama yisera? Rochav lev, you have a wide heart, limnucho, the simcha, for resting and for happiness, for lios pasuach l'rvacha, to be wide open, v'yochav v'yishte v'nafshu kotza olav, and you'll eat and you'll drink and it'll be gevaldig. Okay, that sounds very nice. Omer Abaye, Loshanu Ella. Also Adam tavshilin erev Yom Tov. Okay, so getting back to eruvey tavshilin. So you prepare epis cooked food from erev Yom Tov, from Thursday, when Yom Tov is on Friday. Amar Abaye says, Abaye loshanu ela tavshil avopaslo. It has to be like a cooked food, maybe epis, I don't know, piece of fish, but not bread, not bread lemaise, not bread. Maishna pastilo. What's the problem with bread? If you're going to say we need some kind of like a relish thing, right? Something that you eat, with bread, not just bread that, I think we learned about in Masechta Brachos, things that come lelafes as a past, right? Things like chicken, fish, other things, other cooked foods. So if you're going to say that the thing is you want these like relishy kind of things, right? These things that you eat with bread, but not bread. Well, v'daisa nami de lo melafta. But what about daisa, porridge? Porridge isn't like something that you eat with bread. Dam Reb Zera said, "Hi bavloi tipshai." These foolish Babylonians, da'achli nama benama, that they eat bread with bread. I guess referring to the fact that they eat daisa with bread. It makes no sense. And yet, Rav Nechumi bar Zechariah says you're allowed to use daisa for an eruv, for an eruvey tavshilin. So what's the deal? What's the problem with bread? If you're going to say that, well, you need something that's lafes, some kind of like a relish or something like a chicken or a meat, well, then you shouldn't be allowed to use porridge, daisa, but you are allowed to use daisa. So you need something that's not just like extremely common. Bread is extremely common. Whereas porridge is less so. I haven't had porridge in a while, but I've had bread. Those who say Amar Abaye says Abaye lo shanu ela tavshil aval paslo. So those who say that says Abaye that you dafka need a cooked food but not bread. How come? My time. What's wrong? What's wrong with bread? If you're going to say, well, you need something that is not super common, and bread is super common. But what about the fact that porridge is not super common? And it says, Rav Nuchumi bar Zechariah in the name of Abai, that you're not allowed to use daisa. So we said a minute ago that you are allowed to use daisa. According to this version, you're not allowed to use daisa. So if we're going to say, well, the problem with bread is that it's super common, but what about the fact that porridge isn't super common, and yet you're not allowed to use it? So elamida de malafis ba'inan ufas la malafta v'daisanami lo malafta. Well, rather, because you need something that like accompanies bread, and that wouldn't be bread, and it wouldn't be porridge either. The Amr Beitzah ani bavloi tipshoy dachli nama benama, as Beitzah said that the Babylonians are so foolish that they eat bread with bread, keilu, they eat bread with daisa. So daisa, it doesn't come, isn't sort of something that you can generally eat with bread. And therefore, you can't use it for eruvey tavshilin. You're going to want to use something like, meat or chicken or fish or something. Tani Reb Chia taught, adoshim shebeshulei kedera, if you have leftover lentils at the bottom of the pot, somech alein mishum eruvey tavshilin. You can use that for an eruvey tavshilin, no problem. Vanimile de'izbu kazayis, as long as there's a kazayis of these lentils at the bottom of the pot, no problem. You can use them for the eruvey tavshilin. Amr Beitzah Beider of Yehuda, Shamnunis shal gabe asakin. Okay, if you have fat on top of a knife, Gorov v'somech olav mishum eruvey tavshilin, you could just remove the fat from the knife, and you can use that for eruvey tavshilin. Ba'animile de'izbu kazayis, as long as there is a kazayis of it. I assume it's talking about cooked fat. Amr Rav Asi, Amr Rav, dogim ketanim meluchim, if you have these small salty fish that can be eaten raw, just these salty fish that you don't even have to cook, in boy mishum bishulei nachum, if a non-Jew cooks it, it's not a problem of bishul akum, of bishulei nachum. It's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah that talks about bishulei akum, and it says over there that things that you can eat raw, so there's no problem of bishul akum. So let's say, I don't know, certain vegetables you can eat raw, so if a Gentile cooks it, so it's not going to be a problem als bishul akum. So here also, if you have these salty fish that you can eat raw, so it's not going to be an issue of bishul akum. Rav Yosef says, Rav Yosef im tzala'in nachri somech aleh mishum eruvey tavshilin. It says Rav Yosef, if a Gentile were to cook them, well then you'd even be able to use it for eruvey tavshilin. Interesting. V'avdinu nachri kased daharsna aser. But if a Gentile made these small salty fish into fried fish, that you basically put it in like a flour batter, and then flour you can't eat raw, well then you're not allowed to eat the fried fish if it was made by a Gentile. Pshita, this is obvious. Why should you be able to eat the fried fish? Well, I may have thought to say harsna ikr, that the main thing is like the oils that they basically, the fats and stuff that they fry it in. Kamashman kimcha ikr, that no, the flour is the main thing, and because the flour is the main thing, so that is why that's why it would be a problem of bishul akum by this fried fish. Omer Reb Abba, says Reb Abba, eruvey tavshilin tzrichin kazayis. Says Reb Abba that eruvey tavshilin you need to have a kazayis. Ibaylu de asakasha kazayis echod lechulin. Does that mean one kazayis for everybody, right? So for example, let's say you have the ganze mishpacha, the whole house, and you make one eruv tavshilin. Do you have to make one kazayis for everybody, or do you need one kazayis for every single person? Odilma, kazayis l'chol echad ve'echad, right? Maybe you need for everybody, so each individual. So Tashma, the Amr Abba, Amr Rav, eruvey tavshilin tzrichin kazayis bein le'echad bein l'meah. So it says Reb Abba in the name of Rav that eruvey tavshilin, one kazayis l'maisa, whether for one person, whether for 100 people. One kazayis. Okay? Tanan, we learn in the Mishnah, Achlo o she'avad lo yivashal olav batchila. So we said in our Mishnah that if you ate the eruv tavshilin, or if it got lost, so then you shouldn't cook on Yom Tiv. Shir mimenu kolshu, but if anything is left over from the eruvey tavshilin, somech olav the Shabbos, then you could rely upon that and you could cook on Shabbos. You could cook on Yom Tiv for Shabbos. My kolshu. What does it mean that if anything is left over? Doesn't it mean any amount, even if it's less than a kazayis, you'd be allowed to rely upon it for and cook on Yom Tov for Shabbos? Lo, deis be kazayis. No, it means that there's still a kazayis left over. Kilu, even if you start out with a lot and there's only a kazayis left, that it's kilu, just a small amount, it's nonetheless, you can rely upon it and you can cook from Yom Tif on Yom Tif for Shabbos. Tashma kaminir tavshil zet tzoli. So this cooked dish that you use for eruvey tavshilin, so tzoli, so it's cooked. Vafilu kavush, could even be pickled, shaluk, or really boiled, umavushal, or regular boiled. Kulyasa aspanin shnoson olav chamin merev Yom Tif, for some kind of special fish that was also like a salty fish that you would just kind of prepare by pouring some hot water on it. So as long as you did that on erev Yom Tif, also oichit, so you can use that for eruvey tavshilin. V'sofo ein lo shir. Atchilaso v'sofo ein lo shir. That at the beginning and at the end there's no amount. So my lab, what does that mean? Ein lo shir klal. It means that there's no that there's no amount, that even if like there's nothing, very little bit left, even less than a kazayis, it's okay. Lo. Lo shir l'mayla val yesh lo shir l'mata. No, what it means is that, there's no like amount that's too much. If you want to use more than a kazayis, use as much as you want. But the minimum is going to be a kazayis. Amar Rav Huna, says Rav Huna Amarav, the name of Rav, eruvey tavshilin tzrichen das. Okay? That when you make an eruv tavshilin, you have to have intention. That sounds very nice. Pshita, this is obvious. Pshita das maniach ba'inon. So obviously, the fellow who's making the eruvey tavshilin, he has to have in mind, like, I'm doing this for an eruvey tavshilin. Das misheinichu lo ba'inon or lo ba'inon. Do we need, so if I'm making an eruvey tavshilin for you, do I need to let you know? Do you need to know that I'm making an eruvey tavshilin for you? Tashma, come in here. Avur de Shmuel ma'ariva kula narda. That Avur de Shmuel's father would make an eruvey tavshilin for the entire narda. He would have in mind the entire narda. They might not necessarily know that he made it for them, but he had them in mind. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi ma'arivu akulu Tveria. Rabbi Ami and Rabbi Asi would make an eruvey tavshilin for all of Tveria. Machas Rabbi Yaakov bar Idi, Rabbi Yaakov bar Idi would announce Mishlo iniach eruvey tavshilin. Somebody who didn't prepare an eruvey tavshilin, Yavav Yismach al Shali. He can rely upon mine. So we see from all these examples that yes, somebody else could have you in mind with their eruv tavshilin, that's fine. I think that lemaisa in the communities, like the rabbi will make an eruv tavshilin and have everyone in mind, I think. You're still supposed to make your own, but Fad Kama, and how far can the eruv tavshilin count? Can somebody in Yerushalayim have in mind for somebody in Teaneck, New Jersey? So Amar B'Nechumi Bar Zechari Mishmei Da'abai Ad Tchum Shabbos. It goes as far as the Tchum Shabbos. So up to 2,000 amas outside of the city, you can have in mind. After that, it ends there. There was a fellow who was blind, who was reviewing all of his brises that he knew in front of Shmuel, so that he would remember them. And Shmuel noticed that this fellow was sad. So Shmuel says to him, why are you sad? He says, because I didn't put out an eruvey tavshilin. It was Yom Tif. He didn't put out an eruvey tavshilin to prepare for Shabbos. So Shmuel says, no problem, my friend. You could rely upon mine. The next year, Shmuel saw again that this fellow was sad. He says, why are you sad? He says, I forgot to put out an eruvey tavshilin. To which Shmuel sang a different tune. He said, Posheat, you are a negligent. My eruv counts for everybody, but not for you. Because I didn't have in mind nudniks. I didn't have in mind posheas. I didn't have in mind people who are negligent. You're negligent, so I didn't have you in mind. All right, very nice. L'chaim to all the negligent people, I guess. Let's go weiter. Taner Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, Yom Tov shechalios be'erev Shabbos. So when you have Yom Tov on a Friday, ein me'arvin lo eruvey tchumen v'lo eruvey chatzeres. If Yom Tov is on a Friday, you can't make on Friday on Yom Tov an eruvey chatzeres or an eruvey tchumen. Right? Of course, we know about all of these things from Masechta Eruvin. Eruvey chatzeres is to allow you to carry in the courtyard. Eruvey tchumen is to allow you to sort of, we kona shvisa. Remember, we had a discussion in Masechta Eruvin about what does kona shvisa mean. It means to basically put out some bread somewhere, Moshe Shtei Sudas, and that's kila where you're spending Shabbos or Yom Tov. I guess Shabbat. Well, I guess it works also for Yom Tov. Yeah, it's also Yom Tov Inyan because there's Tchum Shabbos and Yom Tov, as we're going to see in a second as well. Meaning, right there. So we had said that mitoch shehutra letzorach hutra namish letzorach. So that's carrying in Rosh Hashanah hutzah, but Tchum Shabbos still applies in Yom Tov. So now, anyway, so the Tanakama is saying that on Friday you would not be able to put out. If Friday is Yom Tov, you would not be able to put out an eruvey chatzeres, to put together an eruvey chatzeres or an eruvey tchumen. Rebbe Omer ma'arvin eruvey chatzeres avalo eruvey tchumen. Rebbe says, no, you're allowed to make eruvey chatzeres. You just can't make an eruvey tchumen to allow you to sort of extend or just change really where your Tchum Shabbos is measured by. Because you make something, you're allowed to make, you can make something that's forbidden to him already, forbidden, but not something that's permitted to him. Meaning, if on Yom Tif you're allowed to carry, there's no problem with Hotzah, so then if there's no problem with Hotzah on Yom Tif, well then there's no business telling me that I can't extend that for Shabbos, Ki'ilu, right? Meaning, what's an eruvey chatzeres? So that I can carry in my chotzer. I'm allowed to carry my chotzer on Yom Tif, so Mimela, I could sort of extend that into Shabbos by making an eruvey chatzeres. However, eruvey tchumen, I'm not allowed to go past the tchum Shabbos on Yom Tif, so therefore I'm also not allowed to put together an eruvey tchumen for Shabbos on Yom Tif. Right again, you could sort of extend a prohibition for something that's already forbidden to him, such as carrying outside the tchum. But you can't forbid him from doing something that's permitted to him right now. If right now he's allowed to carry in the chotzer, so he can also make an eruvey chatzeres that he can continue carrying into the chotzer on Shabbos. Itmar was stated Rav Amar Alocha Tanakama Ushmuel Amar Alocha Kirebi. So it was stated that Rav says the Alocha is like the Tanakama, which sounds like it's the Chumrah, that you now let it make on Friday, that's Yom Tif, an eruvey chatzeres or eruvey tchumen. And Shmuel Pasans like Rebbe, who says that you're allowed to make an eruvey chatzeres, you just can't make an eruvey tchumen. Ibailu, they ask the kasha, halacha Kirebi lekula or lechumra. When Shmuel says halacha is like Rebbe, does that mean to be lenient or to be stringent? So the Gemara says pshita de lekula kamar. What do you mean? Is Shmuel passing like Rebbe to be stringent or to be lenient? Obviously, it's to be lenient. The Tanakama says that you're not allowed to make an eruv tchumen or an eruvey chatzeres, and Rebbe says you're allowed to make an eruvey chatzeres. So clearly, he's being lenient. What does it mean? What are we saying? Is Shmuel passing like Rebbe to be lenient or to be stringent? Obviously, he's being lenient. So Mishum the Shalach Rabbi Lazar Legola. Well, it's not so simple, because actually, Rabbi Lazar sent to Bavel. Lo kisha'atim shonim beBavel. It's not like what you say in Bavel, Rebbe Mativ Chachamim Osim, that Rebbe is the lenient opinion and the Chachamim, the Tanakam, is the stringent opinion. El Rebbe Oser v'Chachamim Matirin. Rather, said Rabbi Lazar, it's the opposite. Rebbe is the one who's stringent. Rebbe is the one who says that you're not allowed to make an eruvey tchumen or an eruvey chatzeres, and it's the Chachamim who are being lenient and saying that you're allowed to make an eruvey chatzeres. So am I. So therefore, when Shmuel says the halacha is like Rebbe, is that the halacha is like Rebbe to be lenient, or the halacha is like Rebbe to be stringent? So Tashma, come in here. Tav tachlifa bar Avdimi avad uvda kavose de Shmuel. Tav tachlifa bar Avdimi paskin like Shmuel. Ve'amar Rav, and Rav, who of course disagreed with Shmuel, said tchila sorada itzub merabanan l'kalkula. That this Talmud Chacham, Rav Tachlifa bar Avdimi, is starting out already giving psaks that are wrong, that are a mess. So Yamar B'Shama L'Kula Kamranu Kukula. So I understand if we're saying that if Shmuel holds like Rebbe L'Kula to be lenient and say that you're allowed to make eruvey tchumen, eruvey chatzeres, well then I understand why Rav is saying, look what he's doing. He's making a mess already because he's being lenient. Eli Amrit L'Chumra. But if you're saying that Shmuel's being more stringent, so Michael Kula Ika. So then what's Rav getting so excited that Rav Tachlifa bar Avdimi is messing things up already? He's being stringent. So came into Mekalkale bar Rabim anu kukula. So you can actually say that no. You could theoretically argue that Shmuel is being stringent and that Rebbe is being stringent, that you're not allowed to make eruvey tchumen or an eruvey chatzeres on when Friday is Yom Tif. So what does Rav mean that he's messing things up? How could Rav Tachlifa bar Avdimi be messing things up if he's being stringent? Well, the way that you mess things up by being stringent is that, well, if you're going to say that you're not allowed to make an eruvey chatzeres on Friday, So you're being stringent, but then people aren't going to be making an eruvey chatzeros. And if they're not going to be making an eruvey chatzeros, well, then if they end up carrying, well, then they're carrying when they shouldn't be carrying. So therefore, if the halacha is that you are allowed to make eruvey chatzeros, which is lenient, so then people will make eruvey chatzeros and then they'll be able to carry. But if Rav holds that you are allowed to make eruvey chatzeros and he's being improperly stringent according to Rav, and he's passing like Shmuel who's being stringent, and therefore people are not going to make a eruvey chatzeros, and then they're going to end up carrying, well, that's the mess that he's making. So it's unclear if either Rav is saying that he's messing things up by being lenient when he should be stringent, or if he's messing things up by being stringent when he should be lenient, because then by being stringent people might end up carrying because of it. So Amar Rava says Rava, Amar Rav Chizda, Amar Rav Huna, halacha k'Rebbe v'le esor. That the halacha is like Rebbe l'chumra, to say that that you're not allowed to make a eruvey chatzeros or eruvey trumin when Friday is Yom Tov. Friends, that was Daf Tes Zayin of Masechta Beitzah. I think there were some very interesting things over here in terms of like presents and things, giving presents to children and telling their mothers. That was a very interesting thing. And we learned about the Neshama Yisera, that a fellow gets an Erev Shabbos and it stays until after Shabbos. We learned about the things that you can use for an eruvey tavshilin, right? That you should use a cooked food but not bread. We saw machlokas about if you can use porridge or not. If you have like cooked fish and meat and chicken, things like that are good for eruvey tavshilin. You have to use at least the kezayis of it, and also you can have in mind other people. So we saw that like Avod Shmuel and Rabbi Amin Rabbi Asi, other people would, Rav Yaakov Breder of Idi, I think, would make eruvey tavshilin for like the whole community, and it can count up until the Tchum Shabbos. We then saw machlokas between the Tanakama and Rebbe about. So both the Tanakama and Rebbe agree that you're not allowed to make an eruvey trumin on Friday when Friday is Yom Tiv, so you can't do that for Shabbos. However, we saw machlokas, unclear who says what, but we saw machlokas about if you can make an eruvey chatzeros. One opinion is no. The other opinion is that, well, if you can carry already on Yom Tiv, so then you can also extend that into Shabbos, and that would be fine. Rava then paskins, though, the chumrah, that we don't make an eruvey trumin or eruvey chatzeros on Yom Tiv when it falls out on Friday. Friends, that was Daf Tes Zayin of Masechta Beitzah. I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.